Good afternoon, Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ken Brailsford, and I am with Beacon Group in Tucson and Phoenix, actually. I'm going to share my screen with you, or at least I'm going to try to. Hopefully it works. Let's see, screen, PowerPoint. Let's see, can everybody see a PowerPoint? Awesome, thank you. Thank you, Jason, for the thumbs up. That makes it much easier. Anyway, so I got a very interesting little dynamic. This actually came from PowerPoint. It's kind of cute people are working here. And so I'm going to be talking about the benefits of work. And after I finish my presentation, Brittany and Jason are going to help you figure out how to save money and get the benefits and really use those benefits to help you in your life. So again, we're going to talk about the benefits of work. My name is Ken Brailsford, as I said, and I'm the senior manager of DD services at Beacon Group. Beacon Group is based in Tucson, but we have two offices in Tucson, Phoenix, Fort Huachuca, and Air Force Base in Utah. My background, just briefly, is I've got a Master of Arts in Rehabilitation Counseling. I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor. I manage a team, and my team kind of works as case managers for about 375 people with provide employment for individuals throughout Tucson area and also up in Phoenix. I've also had experience doing job development with members of the Division of Disabilities, as well as vocational rehabilitation and behavioral health individuals. And lastly, I do benefits counseling for my agency and for sometimes for outside agency for people looking for information, because people get confused about benefits, and it's one of those things that is an ongoing issue, which I'm sure Brittany and Jason will talk about. So that's our logo there. So talk about us a little bit. So about Beacon Group, we do employment, as you probably guessed, which is why I'm doing this breakout session. Our agency's mission is creating opportunities for people with disabilities. Many people in Tucson have heard of it. Beacon's been around since about 1952. We have our 70th anniversary next year. We employ people both directly, and we find jobs for people in the community. So we have two large areas within the company. Again, I work mostly with folks that we employ directly, and we have a whole division that works with people to employ people in the community. Again, we have offices in Phoenix and Tucson and outside locations. Again, we directly employ 375 people with developmental disabilities and other disabilities, doing a variety of jobs, and they could be landscaping, custodial, car washing, assembly work, all kinds of stuff. We also are working with about 500 people in the state of Arizona, helping them find jobs in the community through a variety of programs. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Overall, in the course of a year, we'll work with about 2,000 people with disabilities, and we'll work both with behavioral health folks, people coming from vocational rehabilitation, Division of Development of Disabilities, and the Ticket to Work program. So we have pretty much every referral source you could think of, we try to help with. So why do I work? So why does anybody work? Okay, so we want to make money, right? I mean, for all of us who are, if you guys are on SSI or SSDI, chances are your incomes are relatively small, and you might be able to make ends meet, but the things that you may want to do extra stuff, you might want to go on a little trip, you might want to go buy some ice cream, you might want to do something simple, go to a movie, and sometimes those are out of reach because of just your money's going toward paying rent, paying utilities, paying your telephone, you name it, you're paying for it. And unfortunately, it doesn't leave a whole heck of a lot left over for people at the end of that. Also, you want to meet new folks. So, sometimes, your sort of get stuck in the house, and especially now with COVID, it's becoming much more of a problem. So an opportunity to meet people that are, again, maybe, and work with people on a day-to-day basis. It also builds confidence. So work is one of those things that for all of us, as you do a job, as you get better at a job and your skills improve, you are gaining more self-confidence. And this self-confidence, not just in the job, but it really permeates your life and makes your life a whole lot better. And the other thing is, of course, it keeps you busy. So again, for folks that are sitting in the house and are, really not doing a heck of a lot, this is an opportunity to get out and do things. I'll give you just a quick example for, it's not about disability, but my dad is 90 years old and he lives in North Carolina and he's still working. He kind of runs a business park. And even at 90 years old, he's still out there doing that because it keeps his mind good. It keeps him going, and it keeps him from having to do things that he would be otherwise sitting in front of the TV set and so on. The other thing is about a job is that you learn new job skills. So when you go to a job, you'll learn both skills that you can take to any other job. Those are called soft skills. If you guys haven't heard that before. So that's talking about coming to work on time every day, having good hygiene, ensuring that you have good teamwork, getting along with your staff, getting along with coworkers, all those things that are part of the job. Those are called soft skills. But then you also learn what are called hard skills, which is the skills for an individual job. So if it's an assembly job, it might be working on your hand-eye coordination and doing all these things as you do it, and you get better and better at it. You can take all these skills with you to another job. And then, of course, you got to make money, so as I pointed out. So why is work important? Work's important because we all need something to do and some way to feel needed and like we're contributing. We want to feel like we're part of society and we're making a contribution to society. You want to have an identity with a job or a company that you can be proud of. So I'll give you a quick example of that too. So one of the companies we work for at Beacon is Jim Click Automotive. So for those in Tucson, it's as you guys know, Jim Click's been around forever, but it's a large dealership. They have it's got about 10 locations. And we wash cars at 5 of his locations. And Beacon pays everybody for this service. I mean, we go there, but we have a big crew that goes and does that. But the people that work at Jim Click don't think they work for Beacon. They think they work for Mr. Click. So all of them wear Jim Click. They have Jim Click uniforms. They have their name on them. And when they are around there, Jim Click, as you know, is very charismatic. He has really drawn everybody into his organization. It has become their employees just like every other employee, Mr. Click. So that is something, again, that they can be proud of. And of course, it boosts your self-confidence. It keeps your brain sharp, as we talked about earlier. And it also helps you learn new skills and work, and it just keeps yourself going on a day-to-day basis. So what kinds of jobs are out there? Literally anything. So I talked to somebody in our organization, and I got a handle on just a brief idea of things that we have placed people into in the last 6 to 8 months. So I won't go through all of them, but you've got the produce worker, dishwasher, you got IT people, you have construction workers, you have customer service reps, you have people working at Amazon, you have somebody doing car sales, doing bakery, fulfillment, you name it, it's out there. If it's something you want to do and something you have the skills for, you can probably find that job someplace. Because again, this is one of those things that you guys bring a lot of skills to the table, and you have a lot of maybe untapped skills. That's kinds of things that you can look at, and somebody like a job developer, whether it's Beacon or another agency, can help you look and say, okay, you can do this. You have this skill. You don't even realize it. Okay. So how do you find a job? So there are a bunch of different ways to help find jobs in the state of Arizona. So mostly it's based on the kind of disability you have and how much funding you have. One thing is called Arizona Long-Term Care. So that funds services for those with the most severe developmental disabilities through the Arizona Division of Development Disabilities. It's jobs maybe in the community or maybe an agency kind of like ours. Most of them come with long-term support. So folks that are in these jobs can get supports for as long as a person is working. Vocational rehabilitation, I know that there was a breakout session earlier about that. They work with those with disabilities, but still allow the person to work in the community without long-term support. So for VR, if you're going to go to VR and you get VR services, that's great. And VR will provide supports for about 90 days or so after you're employed. And then you're on there on your own. But hopefully they develop natural supports and giving you some support in the community prior to them stopping support. We also have a behavioral health component. So through numerous agencies, behavioral health can fund both training, job services, and long-term supports, mostly for individuals with diagnosis of severe mental illness. So what behavioral health will do is they will refer someone to an agency. That agency can first employ that person do some training for that individual, and will also find a job and support the job, again, for long-term supports. Then lastly, for those who are receiving either SSI or SSDI, which I'll talk about just a little bit, there's something called a ticket to work. This is a program attached to those two benefits that allows you free, as part of the benefits of the ticket to work, is it allows you to receive free job development and long-term supports as needed. So you're able to come in, get a job developer to work with you, help you find a job, and then help you keep the job afterwards. So what about your benefits? Okay, you might be receiving supplemental security income or SSI, Social Security disability income, SSDI, survivor's benefits, Arizona long-term care system funding, or other benefits. These all may be affected by work and make it hard to save money. So I'm get the opportunity now to hand over to Miss Brittany Chipley, who is going to, from Able Accounts, she can discuss Able Accounts and tell you how you can save all that money that you guys have just made.
Hey, Ken, real quick, there is a question in the chat. It says, how do you apply for Beacon services? Or get assistance to apply for Beacon services?
What's that now? Well, let me get started chat.
How do you apply for Beacon services?
Okay. So let me answer that question. So it's going to depend upon where the referral comes from. So there's a referral job for the most part, except for Ticket to Work. Ticket to Work is self-referred. But otherwise, the referral would come from either a DDD, Division of Development Disabilities, voc rehab, or behavioral health are the primary sources we have for referrals. Does that help? Okay, thank you, Jason.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Okay, Miss Brittany.
Brittany, on mute.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and transition over and talk about ABLE accounts. I do see that we have a few questions about ABLE accounts, and we're going to wait to the end. I'm going to leave maybe about 5 to 10 minutes after the presentation to go over all of the questions. And then also, if any other questions pop up out there, we'll talk about it also. So thank you so much, Ken. So yes, Ken talked about work, why you should work, the importance of working. But then we know there's a lot of fear out there that people, if they do decide to get a job and get some income, they have a fear of possibly losing some of their benefits. And that's why I'm going to talk about ABLE accounts, in particular, AZ ABLE accounts. Once again, I am Brittany Chipley. I'm the Executive Director for AZ ABLE. It is operated or administered under the Department of Economic Security here in Arizona. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because it's quite a bit of information that we need to get through. I want to make sure I touch on all the facts and benefits of ABLE. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And give me a thumbs up, someone out there, if you can see it. Wonderful, thank you. So AZ ABLE, Arizona's ABLE plan. What is ABLE? Let me minimize this. ABLE is an acronym for Achieving a Better Life Experience. It actually was created in 2014 under the Obama administration. It was passed then back in 2014, and Governor Ducey signed signed it into law here in Arizona in the summer of 2016. So what exactly is ABLE? It allows individuals with disabilities, their family and friends to contribute to a tax-exempt savings account that can also be used as an investment account without affecting their benefits. And that's for federal means tested benefits and state means tested benefits. So it can range from SSI, SSDI, Medicaid, HUB benefits. If you are, applying to school, college, or something like that, and you're filling out your FAFSA form, it won't affect your benefits. What is AZ ABLE? AZ ABLE is Arizona's ABLE plan. It is offered to Arizona residents through a partnership with Ohio's Stable Account Program. So how this works is Ohio is not only partnered with Arizona, they are also partnered with 11 other states out there. And combined, we have the largest ABLE program. So how it works is that they allow Arizonans basically to use their program at low cost and low fees, and just to take advantage of ABLE. And combined, we're called AZ ABLE, and combined, we're called the Stable Partnership Group. So like I said, it's administered under DES. We actually launched in March 2018. We're doing very well. When it comes to numbers, we are ranked number one among all of the ABLE programs that are state only. When I say state only, I emphasize that because there are about 29 to 30 programs out there that are national, which means you don't necessarily have to be a resident of that state in order to open an ABLE account in that state. But for AZ ABLE, you do have to be an Arizona resident. Benefits of AZ ABLE accounts. Well, the first main benefit is that ownership. So the account is actually owned by the individual with the disability, who we refer to as the beneficiary. So whether you may have, if a parent opens up an account for their for their child, the parent is the administrator of the account. However, the account is going to be in their child's name, and the child is going to be the owner of the account. Another great benefit is financial independence. So it eliminates that spend down and increase the amount of short-term and long-term savings. So you guys probably already know out there, there's this $2,000 cap. However, when ABLE was created, it increases that cap. And so that 2,000 went out the window. We'll talk about some numbers. And so now people are able to save money dramatically beyond the $2,000. And then one of our new benefits is a tax benefits. Governor Ducey just signed into law a few months ago, where people may actually qualify for multiple tax benefits. In particular, Arizona residents and taxpayers may now deduct the amount of their contributions to an ABLE account, and that's up to $2,000, and that is per beneficiary. So that's another great benefit that we can now take advantage of if you contribute to any ABLE account. It doesn't necessarily have to be an AZ ABLE account. So eligibility. So there are three main things. Well, let's talk about the main caveat of being eligible. The first thing is that an individual living with a disability that occurred prior to the age of 26. So that means that you must have a disability that occurred prior to the age of 26, not diagnosed, but occurred. Just a quick example, if you have a young gentleman, let's say he's 30 years old, he goes and see a doctor. The doctor at that time, at 30 years old, diagnoses him with a mental illness, but the doctor say, hey, you actually developed it at 25. That gentleman will meet the main criteria, the first main criteria of eligibility, because he had a development of his mental illness at the age of 25, which is before he turned 26, even though he was diagnosed at the age of 30. So that's the first main caveat. You must also have one of the following. Number one, be eligible to receive SSI or SSDI due to a disability, or have a condition listed under Social Security Administration's list of compassionate allowances conditions, or self-certify. With the list of compassionate allowances conditions, you can certainly just go on Google and type that in, and it will give you the list. And then let's talk a little bit about self-certification, because this is typically how most people qualify. So what is self-certification? First, there needs to be a diagnosis of a physical or mental impairment that causes marked and severe functional limitations. And those conditions are listed under SSA's Blue Book. Once again, just Google SSA's Blue Book and see if your condition is there. There's hundreds, whether it's adult or child, whatever the case may be. They basically have it broken up into two main groups for adults and children. And so, yeah, just go on there and look at to see if your condition's on there. And then when you're signing up, you're going to have to certify that your condition has lasted or is expected to last for at least a year. So able accounts are not for temporary, disabilities or anything like that. You're going to have to certify that it's expected. Basically, it's a long-term disability. And then you do not need to send in your written diagnosis or anything like that. Just make sure you have it on hand just in case there are any questions or there needs to be some clarification. But typically, it's easy peasy. You can go on our website. We also have an eligibility quiz. It's very short and sweet and simple, just to see if you qualify, and you can move on from there. So enrollment. Enrollment is all done online, so you cannot go to a bank. You cannot go to Chase. You cannot go to Bank of America and say, hey, I want to open an ABLE account. They will have no idea what you're talking about. However, we do supply paper enrollment if you're having some issues with signing up online or where the case may be. However, enrollment is typically online. It is free. az-able.com. It takes approximately 20 minutes, quick and easy. We actually had a young lady who signed up using one finger in 19 minutes. So we really stand by that 20 minutes. We make the enrollment process as simple as it can be. And we asked for a $25 minimum opening deposit. That actually just went down this a few months ago. Prior to that, we were requiring $50, but now we only require $25 minimum opening deposit. So enrollment can be done by the individual living with a disability, so the account holder or the beneficiary, or an authorized legal representative who can be a parent, a guardian, conservator, power of attorney, a spouse, a grandparent, sibling, and a representative payee. So prior to our new IRS regulations, only a parent, guardian, or individual with a power of attorney could actually administer account. But now they added some things, some people on here. So spouse, grandparent, sibling, or rep payee. So we're happy to have that now. So yeah, enrollment has been basically opened up to a lot of people for someone to administer an account, and we're very happy about that. So funding your account, there's various ways you can fund your account. The first way, or one of the ways, is EFT, which is electronic funds transfer. You can also send in a check, or you can also do a payroll deduction. So if you're out there working, you can have some of your funds, through your HR. Usually there's a direct deposit form where you can fill out saying how much money you want to be directly deposited into your ABLE account. So you can definitely do that, and that's a nice touch, and that's very easy to do. You don't have to worry about it; it's automatic, and typically it helps people save more because the money is not on hand and it's something done automatically, whether if you're getting paid weekly, bi-weekly, and so forth. Funding your account. So if you're not employed, the max amount of contributions per year is only 50, well, not only, but it's up to $15,000, and that can be from any sources. So if you're working and not working, if you're contributing from some of your wages, or if you're just saving money, you can contribute that way. Anyone can basically put funds into your account. So family, friends, whoever, is up to that $15,000. So that's dramatic from the $2,000 to $15,000. That $15,000 comes from the federal gift tax law. I know when we first launched AZ Able, at that time it was $14,000, but within the past few years it went up to $15,000, and typically it goes up every few years. But right now it's $15,000. However, if you are employed, you can contribute up to an additional $12,760 of your own wages, which would bring your from that $15,000 to a maximum of $27,760. So that's a nice little touch. You may be able to do that if you're not contributing to any, or if your employer is not contributing, or yourself, to any type of retirement plan, whether it's a deferred retirement or defined contribution plan, wherever the case may be. You can contribute up to an additional $12,000 plus of your wages. And then all around, there's a $501,000 lifetime limit balance, and that's contribution limit balance. And that means that once your contributions reach up to $501,000, you can no longer, or anyone else can no longer contribute to your account. But that would take a long time to get there, years and years. Because if you're not employed, it's $15,000. Then if you are employed, it's up to that $27,000. And typically, once again, that lifetime limit goes up every year. I know last year it was somewhere around $480,000. Prior to that, it was somewhere around $460,000. So that is probably going to coming 2022 is probably going to go up another $20,000. So just watch that. You don't really need to worry about that limit, because it's going to take a while to get there, and it goes up and up and up. And another thing you don't have to worry about that any of your limits is because the system is going to automatically reject excess contributions. So say like you just open up an account and grandma say, hey, I want to fund your ABLE account for this year. So she sends us a check for $20,000 and you're not working. We'll take $15,000 because you only can contribute up to $15,000 a year. And then we're going to send grandma a $5,000 refund check. So you don't have to worry about tracking if you don't want to, because the system tracks it for you. We also have a nice little gifting page that allows anyone to give financial gifts directly into their account. And it does not count as a resource, or it does not count as income either. So, you know, if you're, instead of receiving a tangible gift, you know, for Christmas or whatever the case, your birthday, whatever the case may be, you can set up a nice little gift event and, you know, send messages to family, friends like, hey, contribute to my AZ Able account, and, you know, for my birthday or for Christmas or whatever the case may be. And it tracks, you know, all contributors and all that good stuff too. So investment options. So these are not only savings accounts, can be used as savings, but they can also be used as investments. And we have 4 Vanguard mutual funds investment options that range from aggressive to conservative. But if you do not feel comfortable investing in a market, you certainly don't have to worry about that. You can leave your money as, you know, savings in our one principal protected FDIC insured option that is principally protected up to $250,000. So you can use it, you know, as an investment, savings, or both. I know some people just use it as we have people who we call spenders and savers. So people who use it transactionally from day to day, whether it's they're paying for their mortgage, rent, dinner, taking a Lyft, Uber, whatever the case may be. Or then you have people who use their accounts as, you know, whether they're investing in a market or if they're just saving long term, whether it's to buy a house or whether the car, or a car, it's really up to you guys on how to choose how to use your ABLE account. So spending your funds, let's talk about that. Withdrawals must be used on what we call qualified disability expenses. And it must relate to your disability, and it must help to maintain or improve your independence, health, or quality of life. So really it's anything. These are just some typical examples of what people spend their funds on: housing and rent, basic living expenses, transportation, whether it's buying a car, you're getting an Uber, a Lyft, or whatever the case may be, education, assisted technology, financial management, health and wellness, legal fees, These are just typical, you know, if I had a gentleman who basically was streaming music or bought music for his autistic son. And he's like, is that considered a qualified disability expense? I'm like, exactly. It's not right here. And there's a typical example. But certainly, as long as it relates to your disability and is helping you basically live a fulfilled life, then you don't have to worry about it. However, we do ask, and the IRS asks, that you do not spend your funds on 5 things. And those things are alcohol, tobacco, gambling, adult mature entertainment, and just giving cash as a gift. So taking money out of your account and just gifting it to someone. So stay away from those 5 things: alcohol, tobacco, gambling, adult mature entertainment, and cash gifts. Other than that, you'll be fine. So spending from the account, you can spend from your account by a checking and savings account. So transfer to a personal checking and savings, paying with a third party check, or we also have what we call is a stable card. It does have a chip on it for more protection, and it is Visa. So you can use it either anywhere Visa is accepted, and it is actually a loadable prepaid debit card. And how it works is that when we say loadable, it does not pull directly from your account. So you actually have to log on to your AZ Able account and move money out of your, online onto your card. And that's for protection reasons. We want to make sure there's no overdraft, there's no cashback access, just in case, a parent, is trying to teach someone, or their son or daughter, whoever, trying to teach them how to be fiscally responsible. They give them a certain amount of money for the day or a certain amount of money for the night to go out with their friends, whoever. We don't want anyone possibly being taken advantage of. So there's going to be some protections there. And then there's limited of merchants. So, if you're trying to do some online gambling or something like that, it's going to decline because gambling is considered a non-qualified expenditure. And it also tracks expenses. So if you're out and about and you log on to your account when you come back home or the next day, you can look at your spending records. You can also make notations about all the expenses you made, if you're, whatever the case may be. And then you can also receive some alerts. So you can get notifications to help you monitor your spending and low balances. So if you sign up for alert, hey, alert me when I'm at $5 so I can reload my card, it's going to alert you to do that too. So SSI considerations, I like to make this disclaimer when I go over this slide because people start thinking about other things. SSI considerations only pertain to people who have an ABLE account and they're also receiving supplementary security income. These are some of the things they need to consider. Number 1, once your balance reaches over $100,000, it's going to count as a resource. So SSI is going to be suspended until you fall below that 100,000, not terminated, just suspended. So if you go back down $99,999, you can call SSI, hey, Social Security Administration, hey, can I get my SSI back? And they'll get it back going for you. And also, if you hold on to the money from one calendar month to the next, then housing expenditures can count as a resource. So only housing expenditures. And so a quick example, if I have an ABLE account and I'm also receiving SSI and I'm getting ready to pay for my mortgage. Here we are, where are we? September. Oh, and it's about to be October. Okay. So I'm getting ready to pay. My mortgage is due October 1st. I decide to take money out of my ABLE account here in September, but I don't decide to, pay for it until October the 1st. That's going to be counted as a resource. So the best thing we tell people to do is when you're paying for a housing expenditure, when you withdraw money, make sure you use the money within the same month you withdraw the money so it won't be counted as a resource. Another thing you need to consider, if you're having an ABLE account and you're also receiving SSI, your own wages are going to still count as income, even though Social Security, like most people, they use that their SSI and they contribute it to their ABLE, AZ ABLE or stable account. So it's going to still count as income. Unfortunate circumstances and the account holder passes away. The account would pass to the account holder's estate. And so the estate administrator is going to notify stable customer service, and then they can take over account access from there. If the account holder does not have a will, then the account will go through the normal probate process, and it's going to be up to the judge, the commissioner, to how to dividend the funds because there was not a will. Now, the only, I would say the permissible transfer, which has actually been, I would say, updated from our IRS regulations, is that you can put in your will that you want your ABLE account basically to be transferred to anyone who was qualified for an ABLE account. It used to be only a sibling, but now it's anyone who is qualified to an ABLE account. You could put in there in your will that you want your ABLE account to go to that person. So that's how that works. But if there's no will, then it's going to go through the normal probate process. Medicaid services. So here in Arizona, we do have a Medicaid payback. However, money in an AZ-ABLE account is better protected from Medicaid payback than money in any other accounts. And we say that because Medicaid can only ask for payback in some circumstances or in some cases, and there are some protections. The first protections are there are limitations. So Medicaid payback is only from the date the account was open. So Medicaid can ask for money, say like, you know, someone had an account, someone passed away, and Medicaid paid for a surgery they had years ago before they even opened an ABLE account. Medicaid can't say, hey, I want that money back from that surgery you paid for years ago, because the person did not have an ABLE account at that time. So that's why the limitation is only from the date the account was open. Also, if there is money left in the ABLE account prior to Medicaid basically filing the claim, you can use that money, family and friends can use that money to pay outstanding bills for qualified disability expenditures, you know, funeral costs, burial costs. If there's some outstanding loans that may necessarily didn't go away when the individual passed away, that's considered a qualified disability expenditure. So money left over can be used for that. And then it can also be used for where someone can deduct Medicaid buy-in premiums that they paid. And we say that it's better protected in an ABLE account because it doesn't work like that in other accounts. So in any other checking and savings, Medicaid can file a claim and get their money back as soon as possible. Basically, you have the first bite at the apple, is what we say. But with the ABLE account, they don't get the first bite at the apple. So account costs. There is a minimal cost for owning an AZ-ABLE account. Our monthly maintenance fees are $3.25 a month. So that's $9.75 that is charged quarterly every 3 months. Those fees just went down. It used to be up to a couple of months ago, it was $3.50. And eventually, once we get our accounts growing, we're hoping that we won't have to charge monthly maintenance fees. But right now, not just ourselves, but all the ABLE accounts out there do charge a very minimal monthly maintenance fee. And then if you are investing in the market, you're using some investment options, there's going to be some asset-based fees for Arizona residents in Ohio and all our partner states. We have the lowest asset-based fees out there that range between 0.19% and 0.33% compared to other states where it's between 0.45 and 0.59. A quick example of how that works is if I invest in one of the options and let's say I'm getting 5% interest, and let's say my asset-based fee is going to be 0.19%. What would happen is you would take that 5% and subtract that 0.19% from it. So ultimately, I will only be getting, instead of the full 5%, I will be getting 4.8% for my interest on my earnings. So I'm so happy to introduce Jason Sneed. He's going to talk about, he's a self-advocate and he's also an AZ-ABLE owner. And he's going to just talk about, give a testimony of how ABLE has changed his life, talk about a little bit about himself also. And he serves on, he's one of my oversight committee members who was appointed by the governor. And so Jason, I'm going to let you take over from here.
All right. Appreciate that warm introduction. As Brittany said, I am Jason Sneed. I just want to talk about a little bit about what the Able account has done for me. I opened an account back in when it first started, back in 2016 or yeah, 16 or 17. I can't remember now. Those years kind of run together because I had my kid during that time, and I don't know, I didn't get much sleep then. But but now I use it to I actually there's a couple of things I've used it for. One is to paint my house. I because I am in a chair and I run into the walls a lot and I scuff them up. So and that's how it became a disability expense for me is I needed to repair some of my house and also I did a modification on my backyard. I put in a patio, cement patio, so I can actually get around in my backyard and access my backyard. One thing I also did was I used it to pay for my house. I know earlier, Self Advocate, I was talking about owning his own house and how that it benefited him. Through the Able account, I'm able to just you know actually use it, to pay for a house. Whereas before I can only afford an apartment or whatever, or some kind of roommate situation. But because of because it took off some of the restrictions I had to with my attendant care use. Not restrictions, but it gave me the access because it didn't count per resource, so therefore I could use it to pay for that. And that has really helped out my my life and I was just able to do some fun stuff with it as well. If I do adaptive sports or anything that's related to my disability, I know there's a question in there about dentistry. You can use it for the dentist as well. I also saw a question in there about can I use it with my trust account? I definitely recommend you using it with your trust account because it gives you another. It definitely can help you there too. And just uh, I, I can't stress how underutilized I think this program is. I would say that I only qualify for the $15,000 per year because I have a retirement account with my job, and so which I appreciate the retirement account. So but it just gives me freedom to just expand my life and just to enjoy my life a lot more. Not that I didn't enjoy my life before, but it opens up a lot of doors. One thing I want to do with it is I know one of the prisoners in the Self Advocate in the morning was talking about transportation, and I want to purchase a new van with the funds. So I'm also saving up money for that. And you'd be surprised how much the funds grow within the time period. I just because at first I was like, it's not growing a lot and everything else, but then I it just left it in there and it grows. So it's just because if you know anything about purchasing a van, handicap accessible van, they can be very expensive. And if you don't have a job and can't use VR resources, or you get denied by VR, then it's gonna, then it's a hard thing to get from a credit union, and you have to go through special credit unions, and they generally charge you a higher interest rate. So, this gives you the ability to save up money so that you can pay for those additional accommodations and not have to pay a high interest rate and hopefully pay it off a lot sooner than the minimum 10-year period that it takes. And by the time you pay it off, it's pretty much broken by that time. So, so it just opens up a lot of doors, and and makes my life a lot easier. And that's basically the story I had. That's what I got. So
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for sharing. I'm gonna, because I do want to talk about, I know that a question, like Jason pointed out, a question came out about using this in addition to their, if you have a trust. Let me go through the questions and then I'm going to touch base on that once I get to the questions in regards to that. First, let me stop sharing my screen. And then let's look at some of these questions and then we'll open it up again for any outstanding questions out there. Let me scroll up. So it says, the first question is, who is in charge of managing ABLE accounts for the state of Arizona? So it is administered under Department of Economic Security, but we are partnered with Ohio Stable Program, which is the name of Ohio's ABLE program. And basically they take care of all of our reports, audits, and all that good stuff. And we get to take a look at all the numbers weekly and monthly. We have our annual report. So it's just a combination. We have program managers. It's very similar, whereas, you know, who's managing your Bank of America, Chase, because these are dealing with you know, funds, they're actually savings and investments accounts. So it's just a whole group of us that's basically taking a look at it. And ABLE accounts are basically our IRS program. So yep, it's just a whole group of us just taking a look at that. Let's see. Let's see. Can I open an ABLE account if my disability is in the Blue Book, but I'm not receiving SSI or SSDI? Yes. So when I went through those three things, you can, you know, have a disability that developed prior to you turning the age of 26. Right now, myself and all the ABLE administrators out there across the nation, we have some legislation on the Hill called the ABLE Age Adjustment Act, and we actually tried to increase that 26 age onset to 46. So millions and millions or more people can take advantage. So if you do right now have a disability that occurred prior to the age of 26, and you also have a disability that's listed under SSA's Blue Book, that is gonna coincide with self-certification. So yes, you can definitely open an ABLE account. I don't have SSI and I have one.
That's just a comment you made.
Okay. How does it work if you are on SSI? So yeah, if you just to let you guys know, you should receive a copy of this presentation. And then you also can go on our website, az-able.com. The presentation I just went over is going to be on there. So it talks about qualifications or eligibility. Go on our website, it tells you can take an eligibility quiz. And we have a lot of other resources on there that would definitely answer some of your questions too. So yeah, I already talked about how does it work if you're on SSI. So those three main things you need to, well, really the first two things you need to just think about. Once your account reaches over 100,000, it can be counted as a resource. It's going to be suspended until you fall below that 100,000. And then make sure if you're withdrawing money to pay for housing expenditures, you use that money within the same month that you withdraw it. So you won't be counted as a resource if you're on, and those are the two main things if you're on SSI and you have an ABLE account. What does adult mature entertainment means? Okay, so when I say adult mature entertainment, going to a gentleman's club or a strip club, you can't use your ABLE, your debit card, your stable card in an establishment like that. Adult mature entertainment online, so you know, whether it's you know, porn sites, wherever the case may be, you can't do that. So that's what's considered adult mature entertainment. What if you have a trust fund? So a lot of people have a trust, a special needs trust, whether it's first set, whatever it is, and also an ABLE account, because they're actually what we consider complementary tools that can be used together. Whereas, you know, for example, you can take money out of your trust move it onto your ABLE account to pay for your rent or your mortgage or something like that. You know, it just depends. What we typically say depends on your situation and what's best for you, but you can certainly have both at the same time. The main benefit of ABLE accounts and why it was created is to help people with disabilities save money without risking or without losing or affecting their eligibility for their benefits. So people, you know, prior to ABLE, people were scared because they were held at their $2,000, you know, that resource limit. But now ABLE basically help that. You know, you don't have to, you can work, you know, you can save money. You don't have to hide your money anymore because you'll still be able to keep your benefits. Can I use dentist? Yes, you can go to the dentist, of course. It's just whatever you need, basically. Would our banks know about the account? When you say, like, if you have like another bank account, like Bank of America, Chase, no, they don't need to know. They don't have to know. Also with these accounts, with ABLE accounts, you don't have to file separate tax returns. Earnings are tax-free. So no, they don't have to know or anything like your other banks don't have to know, definitely not. So all funds / cash withdrawn has to be used. No, not all funds. This is only if you're receiving SSI and you're paying for a housing expenditure. That was that only. So let me read the entire question. So do all funds / cash withdrawn has to be used in the calendar month taken out, no matter the amount of the money? No, that is not correct. You only have to worry about using money within the same month you withdrew it if you are receiving SSI and if you are paying for a housing expenditure. Other than that, you can, you know, and either way it goes, even if there is an issue and you forgot or something like that, it may be used as a resource. SSA may ask you about it and say, hey, well, we might have to count that as a resource. But ABLE accounts, the funds in ABLE accounts is your money. You can withdraw it whenever you want to. You can withdraw however you want to, however or whenever you want to withdraw it. You can use it on whatever you want to. Just stay away from those 5 things, because if you do spend your money on those 5 things, then someone may question you and then it may be counted as a resource. But other than that, so no, it's not all funds, only if you're receiving SSI and you're getting ready to pay for a housing expenditure. To get around that, what we tell people to do is don't necessarily withdraw the money. Like most of us these days, we do all online transactions. So if you're just doing a transfer, usually when I go and pay for my mortgage, so it may be like automatic debit or something. But if I'm just, you know, you could do like an automatic debit. You never withdrew the money was never in your hand. So typically we just tell people just keep with where it's just an online transaction or a third-party check or something that's stable, administers, and you don't have to worry about that. So please don't get that misconstrued. Thank you, Brittany. I wrote that question before you started. Oh, no worries. I am a resident of Mississippi, but considering moving to Arizona. Great. And if you are interested in opening up an account right now, John, you actually can, and that's for anyone out there. If you live in a different state right now and you're, you know, planning to move to Arizona, you don't have to wait to open up your ABLE account. You can actually open up an Ohio stable account because they're our partner and they are also a national program. And then when you get here, your account will stay the same. You don't have to worry about anything. So just a little tidbit for you, John. I am still confused what the 0.19 number for the tax benefits mean. 0.19. Well, the only percentage numbers I gave are the asset-based fees, and those are if your fees that are assessed if you have chosen one of those investment options. To look at more into depth about the investment options, go on our website and it's within our disclosure statement. But that's the only thing I think about when we talked about the percentage. Are you building any credit towards a credit score utilizing the Able Visa card? Can the Able Visa card be utilized for purchases anywhere, like brick and mortar store or online? Yeah, you can use your card anywhere a Visa is accepted. Are there any limits to using an Able Visa, like the amount spent using? No, there's no limits on how much money you spend. And whatever amount of money you put on your card, you can do that. Now, when it comes to credit, it's not a credit card. It's just a savings card or investment options card. So no, there's nothing that comes with credit score or anything like that. Anyone can get a card when you sign up. It's not automatic, but you can request it. Okay, what about for football tickets and sporting events? Yes. You got to live your best life too. You know, everybody want to live their best life. So if it's fulfilling your life, yes, you can purchase football tickets and sporting events. Okay, John said I have 5 minutes, but now that is a couple of minutes. Are EDM festivals adult mature entertainment? I don't know what EDM festivals are. What's EDM? Festival. Oh, no, that's not considered adult mature entertainment. No, you're good to go. I thought that was. Is that whether you have the lights and you're that's MDM? That's what I think about. Yes, I got it right. Thanks, Claire. I am going to conference in Cancun. Yes, if you're going to a conference in Cancun, yes, you can use your ABLE funds for that. Okay, we have 2 minutes left and they're going to shut us down probably in 30 seconds. Do we have any last minute questions out there?
I'm gonna make one last comment, Britt, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm a rep payee for 6 individuals. I've set up ABLE accounts for all of them. It's less than 20 minutes to get set up. It's very quick. For those of you who are going to do it, it's very easy to do. Doesn't take a lot of documentation. You just have to attest to things on when you're doing it. And the transfers go very easily. Once they connect up to your bank, you can move money back and forth very quickly. It only takes a few days for it to be credited and you're good to go. So I would encourage anybody to get this particular account.
Yes. Any other questions out there? Well, we want to say thank you, and I'll turn it over to you.
Sorry, I was just going to do
That's
the same thing. I want to thank all of you who attended. We want to thank you for your interest in ABLE accounts and for employment opportunities for people with disabilities. We absolutely want to thank our presenters, Ken, Brittany, and Jason, our captioner as well. We hope you found this session to be enjoyable and educational, and in less than a minute, you're going to be transferred back to the main room for the closing session and the reports from self-advocacy groups. So we appreciate your attendance. We appreciate your interest in all of these fantastic questions, and hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you again.
Thank you, everybody.